Hi, I'm Brent Kelly with the StokerCon 17 video production YouTube team here with AlBarrera, author of existential horror Darker Shadows Lie Below, and post-apocalyptic horror All That Remains. And thanks for taking the time, Al.
No problem, man.
So, firstly, my first question is, what cartoons and stuff were you into when you were a young man, and have they crept their way and had any influence on what you're doing now?
My favorite cartoon in my formative years was probably Scooby-Doo. So, I mean, in a very real way, yeah, kinda. And then I sort of drifted into that whole anime Dragon Ball Z thing, and that's what my books are really about, is aliens from other planets beating each other up. So, I mean, yeah, I would say, yeah, cartoons are a big influence on my writing.
And as far as the existential horror, is there a lot of existential horror that can be drawn from those sorts of programs?
Honestly, like I always like the idea that Scooby-Doo is sort of about how the only thing scary about the world is that everybody's trying to get one over on you. Like if you really look at Scooby-Doo, it's a half hour of teenagers figuring out that adults are trying to screw them over, and they're trying to scare them by screwing them over. Like, haha, look out, these monsters will eat you, but really they're just trying to get out of there with your money. And I think existential horror is the exact opposite of that. I think existential horror is the realization that everyone dies. Everyone dies, and everything we've ever done will end in the inevitable heat death of the universe. And I kind of write from that place, is where a lot of my horror comes from. So it's the opposite, really. But
let me ask you, with Scooby-Doo. Now you got Shaggy and Scooby. The whole gang seems fairly interested, in what they're doing. But like, do you get the feeling that in, say, 10, 15, 20 years, a couple of them are going to be still at it, and somebody's going to, where's that gang going to be in 15, 20 years from where they are?
I think Shaggy and Scooby's going to be dead because he's a Great Dane. It's really a miracle that he lived as long as he did. But I think Shaggy is definitely going to be that friend whose phone calls you stop answering. Like after you've been out of college for 3 or 4 years, the one who's like, bro, I got this crazy FEMA camp conspiracy theory about ghosts at the wharf and they're out to get us, man. And you're going to hear that message and you're going to be like, he's going to invite you up to the cabin for a weekend and you're going to make any excuse possible not to go because Daphne has a kid and Velma is a professor of psychology and Fred is like a middle manager somewhere. And somehow Shaggy has completely missed the boat on adulthood, and he wants to sell you pot and tell you about how his landlord is out to get him. So yeah, I think that group lasting into the 90s like it did with those fucking movies is completely unrealistic. Yeah.
So what got you started on the old horror writing?
Funny enough, when I was a kid, I thought I would be a fantasy writer. And it just didn't pan out. When I started writing, that's just kind of the direction it took was horror. And as I got older, I found horror writing and movies and reading just more interesting anyway, and kind of speaks to a little more of the kind of things I'm trying to say with my writing. Again, inevitable heat death of the universe and all that. So
who are the authors that are kind of in that same realm with topics and that kind of thing?
I think H.P. Lovecraft very much kind of pioneered the whole existential horror thing. That you can see the anxiety in his work, this idea that nothing we do really matters, and that at the end of the day, if we do survive some sort of catastrophic meeting with these completely ununderstandable, ineffable others, it's only through sheer luck and circumstance, and there's no way you come out whole on the other side. And I think that's exactly the opposite of what some writers who I really, really like Stephen King, there's not that sense of permanent damage done to the psyche of these characters at the end of it. It's very, well, I say that and then Dr. Sleep came out, but you can feel that anxiety with Lovecraft. There's no sense at the end of a Lovecraft story that everything's going to be okay. And I really respect that because it's very real. You know what I mean? There's no sense at the end of any life that everything is going to be okay. So I think it makes more sense at the end of a story to kind of leave the reader in that sort of unhappy place, where things end. I mean, and endings are generally unhappy, and I like that. And I think that's what makes sense of sexual horror. So
Nice. So, as far as is StokerCon 17, what's Old Al looking forward to about that?
StokerCon 2016 was fantastic. I met a lot of really great people. Both professional and on a friendship level. I met people who I talked to on the phone. I met people who I talked to on Facebook, and I've made professional contacts who are like, "Hey, would you like to submit a story for this book?" Or, "Hey, I'm a publisher. If you're interested, you can submit a story here." So I'm just looking at reinforcing those relationships. I think that's the best thing we can get out of this is remembering that we're part of the community.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking time to visit with me, and